Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of You're So Worth It. My name is Tim,
And my name is Terry.
and we just wanted to say thank you again for joining us. We wanted to thank you for all your inquiries, and last week I put my email out, and I'm going to do that again considering the response. So it's Tim Roberto Addiction Counselor at gmail.com. I'm a certified addictions counselor in the state of Florida. And Terry, what are we talking about today?
Our topic today is giving. We're going to talk about the power of giving and the beauty of giving, and really where to start with this whole topic, because it's a simple thing, but it can do, I think, big changes in your life and your just thought processes if you put giving as a part of your kind of daily life.
Mm. And it's giving is so easy for so many of us to do, but for many of us at the same time it's so difficult to do it for ourselves. And we felt that this video would help the people that do lose themselves and others, that do give to everybody with no questions asked, but when they're by themselves they wonder what's going on, what's wrong, and why can't I do the same things I do for others.
Yeah, and I can kind of touch on some things that I jotted down that I think are important about giving and really what it is. And, you know, there's a difference between codependency, giving all, than just acts of service. This topic is more about, you know, the beauty of giving back, and everybody's life is so busy. You're working, you might have a family, you got a relationship, you've got bills to pay. And a lot of people will be like, well, I just don't have time to give. You know, if I have a client and they're struggling with their life and how they feel about themselves, I might say, how do you give back? And many times I'll be like, well, what do you mean? Or that will be the response that I get. I don't have time to, you know, do any community service. I don't have time to do that kind of stuff because I have a family and I give to them. And that's great, but it's beyond that. It's what are you doing outside your normal unit to give back? And we're going to touch on some different kind of areas that you can do that. Do you want me to do that, or you want to touch on this?
Well, I would like to say, you know, giving is just another area left unchecked. We lose ourselves. You know, we give, but in that process, we find, you know, that's given us some worth, or that's given us the recognition, or again, that's filling that hole, you know, with the people that I work with. I can ask somebody, if it's a woman, for say, you know, what does your husband, what's his favorite food? And she'll say it right away, and then I say, well, what's your favorite food? And she goes, I don't know. Or vice versa, you know. I ask the husband, you know, what's your wife's favorite holiday, or whatever her favorite, and says it right away. And I say, well, what's your favorite thing? And it's unbelievable. I don't know. So, you know, we're constantly give, but we lose ourselves in that too. So I just wanted to throw that example in there, and hopefully with that statement, I found that to be a very powerful reply, you know, kind of like, wow, okay, so we're going to do something about giving, and here we are.
And it's funny that you would mention that, because there it is, give to yourself. So some of the things that we're talking about with the beauty of giving are, you know, acts of service beyond your normal daily routine, giving to yourself, you know, making time to do things for yourself, which is really important, because a lot of times we're so busy with the routine and the family and the bills and the job that we don't take time to give and treat ourselves well, and even know ourselves, like you're saying, you know what's important to us, and know how to treat ourselves. And give to family, not just your family that you're in every day, but maybe you have extended family that you haven't reached out to in months, days, or years. And just spending, you know, sometimes for me it's even just trying to call everybody once a week becomes like, I don't have time for that, and it's a sad thing. But I have to force myself to know that phone call is going to be important to somebody that I don't see very often. And just making the time, you know, people don't realize what, especially like elderly people that are alone, how much just that phone call once a week just to say hello means to them, and it's just a few minutes out of our day. And then the big one that most people think about when they think about giving is community service. What kind of service work are you doing? And again, most people don't do it because they don't feel that they have time. And there's different ways that you can give to your community. You want to touch on some of those, since you work with a lot of people, that's a big part of recovery.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. regardless of what you're recovering from. When I'm giving to everybody else, I would say that person is being deprived of their own happiness, or if they're by themselves, what's wrong with me, what's missing with me, and like Terry just said, I do work with a lot of addicts, and a lot of addicts have the same thought process and dysfunctional beliefs about many other people, and that's I'm unworthy, I'm not worthy, and worth for me is a very successful way to build somebody's self-esteem, how to get somebody to start caring about themselves, because worth is something I can give away and it doesn't cost a dime. So for example, if you really think about it, when's the last time you sat down with somebody that might have come up to you and asked you for money? And when's the last time you thought maybe, well, instead of giving them money, let me buy them a meal or something to that effect, and actually talk to them and say, hey, how you doing? What got you into this? I found that to be a very, very powerful way to give back. But there's all kinds of ways. I've also suggested, especially with the older crowd that I work with, that are still suffering from alcoholism, or the woman that's still listening to what her father told her when she was a child, that they still believe. Another way is to get into the nursing homes. The nursing homes are fabulous way, not only to change the conversation in your head, but to definitely give you a huge dose of reality of what's really going on and how worthy you are, because you've never lost the ability to help somebody. And I don't know about your world, but in people like my world and Terry, that means everything. So working with people is priceless. It's just priceless. It's instant. It's an instant satisfaction, sort of say.
Yeah, it's an instant booster to your self-esteem, because you know that, wow, this little thing that I did made a difference. So the last thing I had on here was challenge your fears, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to go to a homeless shelter and help because I don't really know anything about that. I don't really want to knock on my neighbor's door. It'll be weird. I don't know them. I would challenge that thinking. I mean, it could be just challenge yourself every day to do something, some types of acts of service, even if it's helping somebody with their card at the store, helping hold the door for someone, just be overly thankful and make sure that you let the clerk know at the, checkout that you appreciate them. And it's just little tiny things. It's not that you have to go out and dedicate, 5 hours per week doing this or that. But, community, there's so many areas to give. Your local church, your school, if you want to be a mentor, help with reading. Or just something simple like, someone's sick, take them some tea or some soup that day, give them a phone call. Yep. And you'd be surprised how these little tiny things help to make you feel important, that you can do something with not much. It's not like you have to donate money. And it does. It's a self-esteem booster, and it helps you to feel like you matter. You make a difference. You can make a difference. You can help somebody, and I think that's really the beauty of giving, what it gives back to you. It's not about what you give, it's really what you get.
Correct. And, we've learned these behaviors, and we've learned how to respond to things little by little. So all these little things in our lives, because everything is now. If you think about that, everything is now. A lot of people say, I just want to be in love forever. I just want to be happy forever. I just want to be free forever. I just want to do this forever. And we get so consumed, because when I'm thinking like that, it creates this image in my head of what I think it's supposed to be like, instead of allowing it to be what it already is. And forever is just a little bunch of nows. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling worthless, if you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling that this or that, that's all come about by all these little nows in your life. And whatever's going on in your life right now is exactly what you learned here.
In this giving area. So we're going to challenge you to take every day this week and do something small to give back, because we feel that it's going to make a great impact on you.
When you are feeling insecure, when you're feeling you can't make a difference, when you're feeling you don't want to say something, when you don't want... Please challenge that thought, because that's not what's really going on. What's really going on is that you might say something that might change somebody's life forever, okay? Just because you don't want to say it, it might be exactly what the other person needs to hear, okay? So that's where I was getting stuck. That's what I couldn't pull out before. And thank you for coming back. We hope we've made a difference today in the conversation that you've been having in your head. And why not say it one more time, right? Because you're so worth it. Have a great day. God bless you.